evolves and changes, and there are small changes every year or two, and what publishers do to keep you happy is that they tend to ask you to download some components, or they prepare a little, something very simple. Okay? Now, every 4 or 5 years, there are mid-size changes, and right now we are in the middle of one of those mid-size changes. Okay? And then every 8, 9, 10 years there are huge changes. And then, of course, I'll see you for that the next time. Why are benchmarks so important? Well, because the world seems to be taken by this concept of certification, 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 and wanting to know what level the students have, blah, 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 blah. So basically, my friends, one of the problems we need as teachers is to determine what are benchmarks in the English teaching world, because benchmarks apply to everything. See, airlines, for instance, have, they ask you when you go to an airport, they tell you, are you platinum, gold, or silver, or are you nobody, okay? They tend to treat us like that, don't they, okay? So then, those are benchmarks in life. Or people that are married, they say, oh, my silver anniversary, my golden anniversary, my funeral anniversary. But in teaching, what is this thing? Why are we supposed to be talking about benchmarks? Well, these are the standards or points of reference against we should compare our teaching and see if our students have mastery of those levels. Now, we don't have that much time because there were lots of sessions today, so then we won't be here for more than 80, 90 minutes. So then, I'm going to tell you something about this. If you find it of interest, I'm going to give you my email at the end of the session. I have 2 emails, el de contesto y el que no contesto, okay? But I'll give you the one that I do reply to, okay? And you can just send me an email saying, Mario, mándame el rollo de Quito, and I'll send you the PDF version. I need to know which rollo you want, because I have a different rollo every day, okay? So today's rollo is this. Now, having said that, then we can sit back, relax, and get involved and be participating. Now, I teach young learners. That's not a secret. And I have been coming to Ecuador since 1989, I think, so almost for 30 years. So then, those of you that know me know that I specialize in young learners. So then I always do everything based on thinking as a child. So the reason why that zipper came down is because I want to show you benchmarks in a very visual way. If I were, when I was 5 years old, okay, and I said, my name is Mario, cositas, okay? When I would say that, I would say okay, benchmark 1, the kid can say his name. Now, when you move on to the 6th grade, then we're in trouble, because I have an anecdote about this. I just have to share it. If I had a choice, I would have come here a long time ago. Those of you that know me know that I experiment with real children, okay? And what we're going to do today, I always experiment with 200 students. 50 in 4 different countries, because my methodology has to be applicable worldwide. And of course, that's why I choose a country from every continent. The reason why I'm saying this is because when I was doing this with my Mexican students, one of my 6th graders said, teacher, se te fue un hat de más. And I'm thinking, ay, pobrecito. Okay. Well, see, it gets that tough. When we teach English in primary, we're supposed to visit English one time. From kindergarten to 6th grade, we're supposed to visit English, the whole English, once. So this means that when we teach secundaria, we have to revisit the whole language at a deeper level. But we don't cut in the 6th grade. We visit all the way up to have you ever this and have you ever that, which is the most sophisticated structure that we cover back at that level. So anyway, those are our benchmarks there. And of course, there's an issue here and you just went through a presentation on assessment, and I only saw the last part, but it was great. So then, my point being that because we are the teachers, it's not about saying, oh, you're platinum. No, we are the ones that have to assess. We are the ones that have to determine our students' benchmarks. So it gets a little tricky, doesn't it? So then, in the English teaching world, okay, benchmark assessments are the evaluations we make, the estimations we make as we teach, not just for the test, the monthly test or the unit test. And this is the reason why today teachers, see, when I started teaching English many, many moons ago, cuando el mejor hotel de Quito era el Hotel Quito, okay. Woo! See, I've been around, okay. So then, back then, the teacher could ask the students to do something, and then, periódico, ¿dónde estás? Today, we cannot do that. Because of this, this is when the teacher has to walk around. You're supposed to smile. You're supposed to pretend you care. You're supposed to go around and go like, because what you are basically doing with a big smile is you are determining, you are estimating, see? You are estimating your students' level. And you do it through the whole school year, and you have to give the students immediate feedback. So if you're walking around with a big smile, and Jorgito says, you hear Jorgito saying to his partner, "He going to play." And you go like, So instead of saying, "Te equivocaste otra vez," estuviste con Carmen el año pasado, ¿verdad? Instead of that, I know you people because I am one of you, okay? So instead of saying that, you go and you tell the student, "Yes, oh my goodness." Okay, ya no le sirve al speaker. I'm sorry, sometimes I can't even stand myself, okay? So then you go and you tell, he's going to play. And you walk away, and Jorgito says, "Ay, me equivoqué, pero el teacher no se dio cuenta." Well, yes, teacher sí se dio cuenta. But this is the way we're supposed to be assessing and determining constantly. So being a teacher today is much more delicate than it used to be. But it's much more fun. So that's what we should bank on. Now, obviously, you just went through, I overheard at the very end of your last session that you were talking about assessment for learning. And I owe so much to assessment for learning. Because one of the reasons why my books, and I'm here to say thank you, one of the reasons why my books are the most used in the world, and remember, my name is Mario Herrera, not John Smith, okay? Okay? To teach English, is because I was able to keep it a secret. When Big English was written, when we wrote Big English the first time, I was able to keep it a secret from the competition that I had based Big English on assessment for learning. And then because it was the big, big thing. And we know, of course, that we're going to be working with it overall. We're talking about benchmarks, and they are related. See, when we teach based on assessment for learning, we know that there are stages that we go through. And the first, of course, is to involve students, and this is why we have to smile. This is when you teach them language. You involve your students, you smile, and you teach. But after you're done, your first concern should be, did they learn it? So that's why the second stage of assessment for learning is to monitor your students. What I was doing with Jorgito earlier, that was monitoring. I was walking around, keeping my smile, and listening in. And at the end of the monitoring, what do I know? I know if they did grasp it, if they did get it or not. So now I know what gap I have. So the third stage is to assist my students, not to reteach. Because that reteaching is to do the same thing again. No, today we don't reteach, we assist. We put in our shoulder. So we use, based on the principles of multiple intelligences, if we involve by having them read, maybe now I'll have them speak. If we involve by having them sing, maybe now I'll have them write. So we go to the multiple intelligence concepts, and we close the gap as much as possible, just in time for the wonderful concept in cognitive learning of challenging our students, which is the fourth stage of assessment for learning. Well, I have news for you. In this process of assessment for learning, now in this new edition that I have written for Big English, I have added a fifth stage. So we'll talk about that. Now, is there a bench? Oh, here's the problem. I find this problem all over the world. See, everybody is worried about certification, but everybody is worried about certification based on the principles or the standards of the European framework, the CEFR. But we have a problem. Nobody tells you that the CEFR was made for grown-ups, not for children. So when we humble teachers come to with our results to put them in comparison with the A1, the A2, the B1, it's very difficult to match them because the standards are for 18-year-old plus. So that's a problem, isn't it? Well, I have news for you. See that question? Is there a benchmark for young learners? The answer now, and you also talked about this earlier, is yes. That famous global scale of English that Luis was talking about earlier, that is because this scale has the equivalent to the European framework plus a special scale for young learners that matches perfectly the way we teach and how we are supposed to support it. And that is the global scale of English. Now, remember that I do everything visual? Well, here it is. See? When we teach based on the global scale of English, now English is divided in 90 levels. The problem we have with the European framework, first of all, is that the C2, unattainable. See, for those of us in this room that are speakers of Spanish, if there were a C2 test for Spanish, no lo pasamos. And you live in the Spanish-speaking country. So imagine how difficult it is to achieve a C2 in English outside of an English-speaking country. So then, basically, we're fighting for 5 levels. A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, para casa. Okay? Now, having said that, then, the issue is that if you're only fighting for 5 levels, I have a question to ask you. It's a rhetoric question. How many years does an Ecuadorian study English? And I bet it's more than 5. Just in kindergarten? 3. So what's the problem here? Well, this is the problem. Mrs. Gonzalez comes to your school and says, I'm here to register Jorgito, and to level 3, 3rd grade, or whatever. And what level does Jorgito have, by the way? And the teacher says, A1. And then the school year goes by, and then Mrs. Gonzalez comes back to pick up the report card. Jorgito pasó a cuarto. So, what level does Jorgito have now? Like a year later y muchos dólares después? A1. Not good. Not for a young learner. So now, my friends, based on the global scale of English, primaria covers all the way up to level 47. This is our responsibility here. Anything beyond that, that's secundaria's problem. But 47 levels, every year you can move 8, 9 levels, so it's really attainable. See? Now, having said that, what does it look like? Well, this is an example of a learner of a level 25. What we do is we grade it based on the medium. So this is English, everything you need to know about English. But then this student shows proficiency, although in some easy topics, very highly. And then past level 25 starts fading because of television, because of exposure, because of the internet. Students can know bits and pieces of things like this, but the medium is the one that gives us a level. Now in secundaria, I was talking about levels beyond 47. See, this is a secundaria example. The easy stuff, they know it very well. They know the numbers, they know all these, they know the difference between the, he, she, all those things. So then they master the easy part of English. And little by little they start dropping. And then they know a little bit more of the advanced levels. But the medium here would be 61. But this is not primaria, this is secundaria. Now, we are now prepared, and this is the good news that I bring to you. We are now developing materials. I already finished primaria. we are developing materials in a way that we use descriptors. There are no intermediary objectives anymore. It's the curriculum, and I know some of you are curriculum directors here, like I said, Alexander. Okay. And of course from the Ministry of Education here. My point is, it's become very clear now. See, now I like to say that we have objectives that come from heaven, and then the ones that we do on the ground, the mortal ones, to cover the heaven ones, okay? It's gotten much easier and much clearer, which is a good thing. Let me show you what I mean. See, look at this level GSE 10. Can use cardinal numbers up to 10. So if Jorgito can say 1 table, 2 chairs, 3 books, 4 erasers, yes, I'm a 10. The problem is that it's not just speaking. There's reading, writing, listening, speaking, the whole skills. So then we'll have to see how Jorgito does and see the median. Maybe Jorgito will be an 8, not a 10. Or maybe an 11, okay? So we're using descriptors or can statements. Now, of course, the question, because we are teachers here, we don't only, I know we all apply tests, but your business is not the application of tests. You are the teachers of English. Therefore, that question becomes quite relevant for us. And that would be, how can we teach in a way we aim at those benchmarks more directly? Like every time I teach, every minute of my teaching, I'm pursuing those benchmarks. Well, that's what this workshop is about. So let's get cooking, people. Okay? First things first. What are we supposed to teach? Well, see, what we're supposed to teach, of course, is do the groundwork of those celestial objectives that come from the global scale of English. So for instance here, our unit should have, see, this is a unit that I have for 4th grade based on weird animals, weird and wild animals. But before the student sees this, the teacher sees this. Now, in the new teacher's guides, I give you the curricular objectives that come from the benchmarks directly. No intermediaries. These come from the 47 levels of primaria. Can identify everyday objects, people, or animals in their immediate surroundings or in pictures from short basic descriptions. And we have the scaffolding here. If spoken slowly and clearly. Can describe basic differences between common objects or animals, like color, size, given a model. So the good thing about these curricular objectives is that they actually help us teach. See, in every school there's always someone that's new, that doesn't have experience regarding how to pose in front of the students and teach in a natural way. Well, these objectives, these descriptors are designed in a way that they actually tell you how to teach it. If spoken slowly and clearly. So the teacher stands in front of the students and starts teaching, and I have to speak slowly and clearly. So look at the animals. You see, it makes you aware of the conditions for teaching appropriately. Now, these come from heaven. I told you. This is not my work. This is the work of thousands of teachers that help Pearson. And it's still active. You can still be part of it. It's an active thing online to develop this global scale of English. But my job is to turn it into lessons. So of all those options, objects, people, animals, which one did I choose? The animals one. Remember the one I just showed you? So let's go back to our animals. See? And this is my interpretation of the curricular objectives. But for those of you that are users of my books, notice what's going to happen now. I give you lesson objectives. In the current edition, I did not have this. Because of benchmarks, I have rewritten Big English in a way that it matches the global scale of English in a perfect way to cover those 47 levels I was talking about. So you see, I will learn to name weird animals and where they live. Now, for those of you that remember this, I used to have the lyrics here of the song. Not anymore. I've sent it to the second lesson. So now it's just for the students to listen. But, because we don't have that much time, and we're supposed to do it in a fun way, I'm going to ask you to do this with me. This is from the second lesson. But in the first lesson, you would just listen to it. But we don't have that much time. They're not going to give us dinner, they just gave us coffee. So then my issue here is this. Why do we use songs in the classroom? We use songs in the classroom for 3 reasons. To understand meaning, to show, students should show understanding of meaning. For them to reenact the song. What am I getting by a student saying that it's a tree, or it's big, or it's small? I am monitoring. Remember the second stage of assessment for learning? See, this is the beautiful thing about our job. It all makes sense. When the teacher says, okay, sing the song, but don't just stand there. Like, oh, and it's big. What is the teacher getting? They understand. And then the third thing is for the students to sing along. Because we don't have time, I'm going to challenge you. This is my challenge. I'm only going to play the song once, but I want you to do the 3 things together. Are you up to the challenge? Yes. Can you listen, act out, and sing? Okay, let's rehearse. Show me your hands. Now this evening, although we're going to be together for very little time, I do want you to know this. Every time I do this, it means I'm changing from the speaker to the classroom teacher, which automatically means that you change from the beautiful teacher you are to my student. Okay, so, children, show me your hands. Okay, show me big, show me small. Now, tree, singular. Now trees. Now study. Here. Us. Them. Very smart. Animals. Are you ready? Very little rehearsal, no time. Okay?
Understanding Animals song.
Can you walk like an animal? Don't be shy.
Do you know a lot about animals and how many different kinds there are? Some are big and some are small and some are just bizarre. Understanding animals is good for us to do because learning about animals helps us and helps them too.
Ready to walk?
Some live in trees or in the ocean, and some live where it's hot. Some are beautiful and some are cute, and some are, well, they're not. Understanding animals is good for us to do, because learning about animals helps us and helps them too. It's important.
Now, este no paga luz. No electricity bill. Lives in all oceans around the world. We don't know, no los he contado. What animal is this? The anglerfish. Aww. This animal lives around the volcanoes around Mexico City. This morning there were 2,000. Me reportan que ya son 12,000. What animal is this? A bunny. Ay, mira. Rabbit. What rabbit? Which Mexican rabbit? The volcano rabbit. The clues are there. Now, lives an island in the Pacific Ocean. There are more than 100,000 in Galapagos Island. What crab? The Pacific Ocean. Nomás porque son mi libro. crab. Okay, that's it. Ah. This animal lives in Southeast Asia. We have not counted them. What animal is this? The tarsier. Let's play a game, children. Now, I want you to look at your neighbors. Look at the people sitting next to you. Do you like those people? Do you like those people? Alexander, do you like them? Do you like them? Do you like them? Yes, ay, qué cuarta hipocresía. Tenían razón, Nacho. See, the reason why I'm saying this, everybody has to get involved, is because depending on the culture of the country, see, I'm very blessed because I travel around the world. But when I go to countries like Egypt, like 20% of the teachers that go to see me, they like to see other teachers work, but they don't work. See, they're interested. See, in Cairo, this is what I see when I'm like, this is what I see. I see 20% of the teachers doing it. And then they stood up. And then they did this. So they're interested, they just don't want to see themselves doing it. So not in my Latin America, okay? We are the best teachers in the world. And believe me, I know this. And we are the best because we are very open. We are willing to try new things. And that makes us the best teachers in the world. And I'm coming from China and Indonesia, y se los dije. ¿Supiste que nunca lo volvieron a invitar? Okay. So anyway, here goes. Show me A's. Show me B's. Okay, I'm going to play the role of A. Teachers have to model the activity. So here's what I'm going to do. I live in Australia. I'm A, okay? I live in Australia. There are between 10,000 and 25,000 of us. What animal am I? And then B says, B, show me your pointing finger. The correct one, because I've been here before. I know you people. Okay, B's, show me your pointing finger. Point to A and say, ah! You have to be very natural. Ah! You are. But the moment you say are, you stop pointing and you reenact the animal. Ah, you are the Tasmanian Dama. Got it? Okay. Are you ready? A says what animal you are, and B guesses. Here we go. Let me show you. There you go. A, choose an animal and tell your partner, I live blah blah blah. There are blah blah blah. Go, 1, 2, 3, go. So let's move on. So then remember, we move on to the second lesson. And there it is. Now you have the lyrics on the second lesson. And then, of course, see, where do coconut... So there is the conversation to practice everything. And the chat, so they talk about this using these models. And then we challenge you. Find a picture of another weird animal. What is its population? Where does it live? Tell the class. Where do they do this? They do it online. Where do I tell you? I'll show you. See? This, my friends... Oh, let me just show you this. That was fun. How do we plan a lesson based on teaching objectives? Well, novedades. Look at the screen because something magical is about to happen. Are you ready? Yes. Here we go. Oh my God. This is the novedad. Now, not only do I give you lesson objectives, but I give you flows in the new teacher's guides. I give you flows, and you will notice that the lesson objective is visited twice. The first time, after the warm-up activity, so the students understand what their role is going to be. One of the reasons why awareness of the objectives has become very crucial is because nobody is giving us more time. And yet, you are expected to do more things each time. Okay? So, nobody's going to give you more time because time is money. But, because of modern methodology, you are expected to do more things and more things. So, people that do what I do, our job is to find ways of you doing it in the time you have. So, now, I will take you to a lesson objective activity. So, the students are not going to read the objective, they're going to do something that gives them awareness of what the activity is for. And then, like this is a singing unit lesson, so then there's activities for singing, and then we revisit the objective again. Not to revisit the objective per se, but to do an activity that leaves in the student the emotional awareness that I can do it before we finish up. And for those of you that like to ask for homework, but don't like to figure it out yourselves, I have news for you. For every single lesson, I have designed a default homework activity that is going to be there. It's already there. I'll show you that. So, this is what it really looks like. This is another, I call it the lesson flow, and this is reading. So you see, have the warm-up, lesson objective, pre-reading, reading, comprehension 1, comprehension 2, comprehension 3, the challenge with Think Big. I revisit the objective, and then homework. So this is what you will have now for every single lesson. Now, you know what's beautiful about this? Because of the times we are living, and because of new technology, now, in the new platform, you can actually press these red buttons. Y empieza a dar clase. It's just beautiful. There's a new platform. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's just wonderful. Now, speaking of units, see the 47 levels mapped to the global scale, and then after we do, this is the awareness for the teacher to know what you're pursuing, and then I give you the lesson flow, and then I give you lesson objective, which is mapped to the global scale of English, and look at the new lesson plan. I am so proud of this. I give you all the materials you need, part of the components. I give you the 21st century skills. Now, I know that some of you might not be able to read this, but I can tell you from here. Look at this 21st century skill. Explain to students that they are going to make an animal map. Have students work in small groups and give each group a photocopy. Photocopy where? Download it from the platform. Or you can just get a map. And have them search, remember the challenge a little while ago? Look up another weird, remember that one? The little challenge that was under there? Well, because it's a 21st century skill, let me tell you what my students did. I'm going to show you, I'm going to come back to this later, but I cannot wait to brag about what my students, this is the map that I gave my students. And remember all the animals we went through? Well, we put them on the map, the Tasmanian devil, the Andean condor, the anglerfish, the Mexican volcano rabbit, the crabs all over the place. The tarsier. But then, my friends, remember that I asked them to go home? So one day, when there were only like 2 minutes left of class, I would tell my students, okay, that was great. For tomorrow, I want everybody to go online and Google weird animals. And of course I did, and there's a whole list that shows up. And I want you to choose one animal. And print the picture and come with information like how many are there in the world and what do they, where they live, blah, 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 blah. So the next day, because I teach for experimental purposes, I am not there at 7:30 in the morning. So, con la fresca a las 9 de la mañana, I show up. So the kids go, teacher! And they point at the animal that they chose. Now, I'm going to show you a few of the ones that my 200 students gathered in different parts of the world. Okay? So, a tusked deer. Why is this a weird animal? Because es un venado y tiene colmillos, that's why. Okay? So, where do you think this animal is from? Any takers? Australia, Africa, the United States. And the answer is China! Now, I have a wonderful anecdote. In 2 of the 4 countries, this animal came up. In China and in Mexico, 2 children brought the wolverine. And the other kids in Mexico, when I teach in a country where I don't speak the language, I need the real teacher next to me. So when I was doing this in China, and somebody said, the wolverine. And one of the students immediately interrupted and said, no. And I'm thinking, pues So the teacher says, Chinese teachers are so sweet and nice, and the teacher says, he is asking, do they exist? Because this is Hollywood's fault. Because of the Wolverine, the movies. Yeah. In Mexico, I told you in 2 countries it came up. It came up in Mexico as well. And in Mexico, one of the kids, así abiertamente, existe. So yes. So in what part of the world do Wolverines live? States? We want to pinpoint every animal to the States. They live in Canada and Russia. Now, they look like too far apart, but they're not. Because remember that the world is round? So Canada and Russia are actually neighbors up there, okay? And that's where the real Wolverines live, okay? Now, another one. Oh, I just saw one of these for the 2nd time in my life. Babirusa. Where is the babirusa from? Now, if you are a good listener, this is my test to you. If you are a good listener, I mentioned where I'm coming from. Indonesia! Yes! Okay, I've only seen 2, but not in the wild. Puro zoológico. Y como que a 2 metros. The giant desert centipede. I know there are deserts in the whole world, but this one came up for in Arizona and Sonora. The Sonora Desert is shared by the United States and Mexico, and that's where those live. Now, what about the gerenac? Now, why is the gerenac weird? Porque come parado, that's why it's weird. Africa. Tibio, you're getting there, yes. From Egypt and Somalia and the Horn, the African Horn. And my friends, the Maine wolf. Do you use in Ecuador, do you use the word in Spanish, do you use the word crin? Like horses? Like la crin? Okay, well, Maine is la crin. So, did you know there are wolves that have crins? And where do you think they have them? Little hint, I was there 3 days ago. No, 3 days ago. Ya estaba acá este lado. No. They live in Bolivia, Brazil, and Paraguay. I was in Bolivia 2 days ago. Yesterday, actually. Now, the wombat. Australia. So the students do this, and they stand up and they say, hi! The wombat lives in Australia, there are 10,000, blah, 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 blah. And then the other student tells me something about the weird animals, and then we say, bye! Hi! You see the So everybody's talking and doing things, y en eso pasa la madre superior. And of course, or la coordinadora general, la dueña del colegio. Alguien de Secretaría del Ministerio de Educación. So they walk by and they see this. Wow, cómo trabaja esa maestra. Aumento de sueldo inmediato. Now remember we were here. This is where we were, remember? I told you about the materials. I told you about the 21st century skills, and this is what took us to the animals. Let me retake this. What else do we have here? Yes, the assessment for learning stages involve monitor, assist, and challenge. See, assessment for learning is inbuilt. This is what makes this teacher's guide the best one ever. It has all the stages of assessment for learning, and in this new edition, I give you another visit, see? Revisit the lesson objective. And so what I'm doing is giving you an activity for the emotional part of learning. Remember, when we teach human beings, and those kids, sometimes we doubt it, but they're human too, okay? So then, it is very important that you do things that hit their emotions. So when you develop an activity at the end of a lesson that actually makes the children say, hey, I can do this, that is wonderful. Because it keeps you going, it keeps them motivated, it keeps them interested, and it's a wonderful thing to do. And so there's self-awareness of progress made, and my friends, remember the homework thing? Yes. Every single lesson now has a default homework activity. If you don't have time to decide on what to do, but you do want to ask them for homework, go for the one I give you there. Okay? So, having said that then, what other pillars do we have to teach? 21st century skills, they're still there, they're up and running, and of course, let's practice. See? Look at these curricular objectives, these benchmark objectives. Can follow the sequence of events in short, simple, cartoon stories that use familiar keywords? What about for writing? Can write short descriptive texts on familiar topics if provided, see this is the scaffolding, if provided with keywords and supported by pictures? Well, look at this 21st century skill thing. This is the risky thing for us as teachers. Today, my friends, if we are teaching correctly, we are not supposed to teach just English. We are supposed to teach our students to do things in English. And this is scary. Les tengo un chisme. Those of you that work in private schools, cuidado. Porque ahora los ministerios de educación del mundo, they have caught up. And now public school programs demand strategies and skills, not just the presentation of English. So we have to step our ante. Look at this example, for instance. See, it's not about teaching English. It says, how is a graphic novel similar to a short story? This is literature. Yes, it is literature. These are fourth graders, 10-year-olds. And now we are teaching them things in English, not just English per se. A short story uses words to describe characters and to say what happens. On the other hand, a graphic novel uses both words and pictures. Now, how do I depict this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, now, children, let's show me your imagination. Can you do this?
Yeah.
Pretend you are playing with a napkin. Are you ready? This is what I want you to do. Now what do you have? You have a cape. And you know why you have a cape? Because you are a superhero. Ladies, children, you are now Captain All Safe. Until
What's that? I hear children
Oh my goodness! Godzilla is attacking a group of children. Captain Outside sees something happen below.
This is so tough for a captain of sea. The work is, I'll tell you.
So go to the ground, saque tu lazo, and tie Godzilla. Oh no! Godzilla is a character hired for a birthday party. Hey! What do you think you're doing? Y la mamá incauta y ajena a todo sale de la cocina. Happy birthday to you!
Hey.
So you don't like fire, so you're gonna blow the candles when you see. So ready, blow.
Blow the candle.
Oh, that's teacher blow. No, super blow. Thank you. Hey. Captain, I'll say, if I were you, I'll take a vacation.
If I do that, this is a job for a captain to say.
Hey kids, the sausages are. Oh no!
Maybe I should take a vacation.
Yeah. Oh, so you have superpowers. Well, what does super mean? What does super mean? It means great, power, better, greater. See, the students count with all these words. But they also say, teacher, how do you say? And then they say the word in Spanish. Do not, I beg of you, I really, si tuviera mi cara, I beg of you, do not stare away from teaching correctly because you're afraid of a question that you don't know. You're not supposed to know everything. Ni que nos pagaran tanto. But please be open. And if somebody doesn't know, and then if you don't know, you tell them, well, that's going to be your homework. And you leave like you own the place. Super! Now, so a human uses a hose to put fires out. But what did you use, Captain Outside? You used what? No. Super Outside, Captain Outside didn't use water. You used water the second time, yes, you're right. But what about for the cake? Super blows fire with super breath. So you see, that was the teaching part. We do the feedback part, and then we assist together. See? Why students came up with some superpowers. Sure. And when I was kneeling in front of the class, the little kid comes to show his superpower, and he puts his hands on my head. Y yo te vas a morir. And the kid did, my superpower is to grow hair. So now you know quién no pasó año. So when I told my students to say if the definition matched, they would have to say, yes. Are you ready? Yes. Yes. Here we go. First one. A spaceship can travel in space. Did your definition include the word travel? Yes. Yes. Or creature. Esto es la más difícil de todas. A living thing that isn't a plant or a human being. No. Planet. The key word on planet is a revolving thing. Si no pusiste revolving es piedra, no planeta, okay? So, the difference between a planet and a big rock, is that it revolves around the star. In our case, the sun. Right? But remember, there are many solar systems in the universe. We just know one. Now, I will understand. Remember that now we have lesson objectives for everything. I will understand the text about aliens. Children, imagine that a spaceship from another planet lands on Enlgish. What might the creatures look like? So this is an activity that I asked my students. I told them, tomorrow we're going to have a lot of fun. So I want you to imagine that a spaceship lands here, and that the creatures come out of the spaceship, and what will they look like? So they go home all motivated. The next morning, the moment I open the gate, because they remember when you teach, I call this the triangle effect. Why triangle? In order to explain, I need to pose in a profile way. Are you ready? Think. Oh, outer space. Oh, creatures. Speak. Outer space. Creature has legs, has a hand, has a body. And do. See the triangle? So the kids come with it. What am I going to do the next day after they describe how many legs and how many eyes and how many this and that? Then I tell them, okay, remember the objective? I tell them, okay, so we're going to do some role play. If we go back to assessment for learning, this is the involving part, the teaching part. Okay? So, remember your A's and B's? A's of the class, you are going to be the boy. Are you ready? Yes. When the spaceship landed, the boy was hiding behind the trees. It was a beautiful clear morning. The sun was shining. The birds were singing. The boy just watched the spaceship and waited. While the boy was watching and waiting, a tall creature suddenly came out of the spaceship. The creature was wearing a a silver suit. And a large helmet. He started collecting flowers. One by one, he scanned each flower with some kind of camera. Then he typed some information about the flower onto a presupuesto para iPads. He typed some information about the flower onto it. So when he was finished, he put the flower into a large box. The creature thought he saw something move and asked. The boy didn't answer. The creature looked over his shoulder and saw the boy hiding behind the trees. The creature said, "It's all right. Boys? What? The boy asked. The creature replied, "Flowers." Said the boy. Said the creature. Asked the boy. The creature sighed. No, a long time ago, we created too much pollution. We cut down too many trees, and now it's like a desert. There's almost no water anymore. All of the flowers and trees that live on our planet are gone. That's terrible, said the boy. Is anyone doing anything about it? samples of life from other planets. Our scientists are working very hard to create water. We use these samples to learn about water. I believe someday water will return to the planet. The boy said, "What's the name of your planet?" The creature said, "Long ago, it was very beautiful. If we work hard, someday the world will be beautiful again." And then the creature returned to his ship. La cajita. Tanto gastar en traerlo para que se les quede la cajita. And then the creature returned to his ship. The boy waved goodbye as the spaceship slowly went up into the air and disappeared. Yay! Very good, guys. That was involving. But now it's time to monitor. So where does the creature come from? What does the creature do on Earth? Oh, what? And the teacher's very happy because the teacher's getting good results. What are the scientists on the planet trying to do? Create water. Why does it, this is a difficult one. Why does the creature want samples of flowers? So the teacher needs to do reteaching. We want to study flowers to see the water. Now, that was, I'm a teacher of English like everybody here, but I'm also a pedagogo. Okay? Yo fui a la universidad 3 veces hasta que me echaron. I went to be a teacher, I went to be a pedagogo. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because pedagogos are the ones that are behind teachers. See? You don't see us, but we do everything, we plan everything that you do in the classroom. Okay? So I am a cognitivist. Soy un discípulo de la escuela del pensamiento cognitivista, which means that everything I do takes me to the student's thinking process. So what we just did, the reason why I'm saying it now, is because what we just did is the simplest, superficial feedback, monitoring. But now I'm going to take you deeper. Still monitoring, deeper. Okay? True or false? The boy lives on Rosal. True. The creature finds out that someone is hiding. There's water on the boy's planet. The creature is collecting samples of flowers. Scientists on the creature's planet are trying to create plants. Apples! Now, I will do the assisting by having the students role play, by, see here what we just did, but I did it fast because we didn't have time. But then I'm going to challenge you. And to challenge you, this was the most surprising thing for my students. Let me show you what I mean. See, we always said that that is false. So I stand in front of my students and I challenge them. If the statement is false, can you turn it into a true statement? And then there are many, the students they don't think about this, they just say, the boy lives on Earth. And then otro dice, teacher, the boy doesn't live on Earth, it becomes grammar. And then thinking, the creature lives on Earth. You see? So something that was so simple becomes a grammar practice in a natural way. And this is the beautiful thing. The creature finds out that someone is hiding. That is true. Turn it into false. The creature doesn't find out. Or the boy, you see what I'm saying? It becomes such a challenge for the students. This, my friends, is the way we are supposed to be teaching English today. And then, another challenge. When I ask my students about, will we have enough resources? In the United States, we're living tough times in this regard. Because right now we have a government that doesn't believe in climate change. So it was very refreshing for me that 81% of my students, 162 of the 200 children, said, do you think Earth will always have enough water? And they said no. So it's comforting, and I hope that eventually the whole world will understand that we need to take care of Earth. Remember the revisiting? This is something that I've added to the program. See, we revisit the objective, but now I have understood a text about aliens. So as I tell the students, like, oh, you did great. And with a big smile, I ask them to retell the story. So what is the story about? And the kid, a creature, a boy, blah, 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 blah. And what happened? And they start telling it. So by the end of the story, they feel, oh, I can tell a story about aliens. See? And they leave home how? Doing, 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 doing. All emotional and happy of the learning process. Now, some of you that I saw during the break were asking me about ¿qué novedades vienen en la segunda edición? Well, I'm just going to tell you that one of the big things that I've done is I've added the objectives to all lessons. Okay. So for those of you that are not users, see, we would do this is where we would do the feedback part, the focusing. In the teacher's guide, I'll give you the assisting, and then I give you the challenge right there. Grammar. We teach grammar through cognitive processes. So we have the involve. Now we have an objective. We involve our students through model visualization. We get feedback through stickers for grammar monitoring. So we have stickers for grammar. So if the student sticks it, and he can say it or she can say it, then they have this feeling of knowing. Now for the assisting, I use Gestalt, for example, visualization, insights on word order. Now in learning, the word insights is very important. In American English, we call this an ah moment. When the students say, ah, that's music to our ears, because it means that they have understood. So in Big English, I give you insights through different charts. This is Gestalt, pure Gestalt. I give you two, because we teach two different structures. And then we transfer the challenges to use it in your real life, students' real life. Now, we also have CLIL, see? Academic CLIL, and you'll notice that we always have an objective now. We always have an objective, and we follow the assessment for learning process. We have cultural CLIL, with specific content words for it, an objective and the like. Now, what else is new? Well, let me show you. We now teach phonics up to cuarto grado. In the current edition, we teach phonics in first and second grade. Well, first of all, we have process writing. We teach writing the same way we teach children in the United States. We do pre-writing. The difference is that our students are learning English at the same time. We do writing. In the teacher's guides, I give you the revising activity. Esto viene en la guía del maestro. And then the presenting part, which is the challenge. See? And then, my friends, phonics. In the current edition, I teach phonics in levels 1 and 2. But now I have moved on to levels 3 and 4 to get into nitty-gritty stuff that actually helps us teach students English in a more natural way and learn to speak it and to pronounce it better and write it better. Again, of course, an objective. Now, what else do we have new? Well, there are lots of new stuff. See, we have the value. Now there's an objective for the value, and we associate it with the project. And then, my friends, otra novedad. Now the review pages are only one in these grades. Why? Because I added the other phonics page. See, I just look stupid, but I'm not. So if I had added, somebody might be looking at me like, ay, le agregó una página más como si yo tuviera tiempo. Well, no, don't worry. I added the phonics page, and then I took out the page from the end of the unit. And what I have here is a review page, and I practice all the skills here. Reading, speaking, writing, and I give you the self-awareness thing. See? All the objectives, and the students will say how well they perform. We continue having the checkpoints for practice, mastery, and of course, after the mastery, the metacognitive skills. Transfers to life, and the grading, the checkpoint, was it fun, was it not fun? Then the workbooks. Full color, Look at this, this is the new thing here. I've added the little stars here. How did I do? So the students will self-assess or self-evaluate themselves. Just one thing. Now, the teacher's editions. You're not going to believe this. I got away with it. Unequivocally, my friends, this is the best teacher's edition for young learners that we have ever made. Now, I see there's one here, so I can actually show you what it's about. The only difference, well, not the only difference, the only thing you have to worry about is much thicker now. Because it is much thicker, it costs Pearson a lot more money to produce it. And normally in schools they use my books, they give them these things. So I thought they were going to say no. But they said yes. This is what I get for having the book themselves. See, let me show you the evidence. See? Assessment for learning is inbuilt. See, this is the way we open with the GSC objectives here. So we move on to a unit project. And then we have the key language, grammar, phonics, bulletin board, and this. Why is this so thick? Let me show you. When I normally don't have that much. I normally don't visit that many schools, but when I do, I'm very observant. This is what I would see when teachers were preparing. And I said, how can I help? Well, the reason why they were doing that is because you normally get the student pages so that you can show up and do this, and los chiquitos dicen, igualito que el mío. But when you prepare, how can you prepare your lessons if this is where you have it and the teacher's lesson is over here? To solve that problem, I now give you the student pages twice. I give you a reduced size with the lesson plan all around it, and here is the flow that I was telling you about, que también aparece en la nueva plataforma. And then I give you the student page, full size. So as a result of that, now the teacher's guide is much thicker. See? Reduced size, full size. And of course, as we move on, what else do we have? You see, the whole unit is like that. So now it's a thicker teacher's guide. ¿Para qué más sirve? Para golpear gente. Vas por la calle y alguien te asalta. Everything. The stickers. Oh! And if you look at the sky in Quito, there is a new cloud. The big English cloud. The cloud has three things. It has the digital presentation. In other words, the one you use to teach. Allí donde le picas a los cositos rojos. It has the preparation. You're at home, you need the map, you need some files, you need some tests. Everything you want to download is here. Teachers, online resources. But what about asking the students to do something, the interactive part? Well, we have a third section. Students, online resources, where you can ask them to do things. Te metes como a las 10 de la noche. Your class appears there, and it tells you how well they did. Just beautiful. Okay? What else do we have? The new audio, 2 tracks, depending if it's the student's workbook track or the teacher's track, and new posters. Ojo, this is very important. If you are a user of Big English, do not discard the current posters. The new ones are extra. You currently have posters per unit. Now I'm adding thematical posters. And a poster with the lyrics for the song. Flashcards, también son nuevas. Do not discard the previous ones. The new group, the new flashcards have the words in big size on the back. Las actuales tienen el nombre aquí. So now you can combine it. Just look at how many flashcards we have now. It's beautiful. Now, so an example, see, at the Encounter I'm showing you the same one twice so you know what's behind. Now, assessment pack. Do I have one here? Yes, I do. This is a big secret. The assessment pack, my friends, this is just beautiful. If you don't use the platform, you have everything here to copy. You have pre-test, practice test, unit test, mastery test, final exam. As you can see, they're penguin readers, so we know they're the best readers in the world for children. So this is the one that goes with level 4, and then the glossary and activity pages. Now, 4th grade, 800 words. Now, this chart you've never seen before because it's new. We're accustomed to the CFR, A+, blah, 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 blah. The Young Learners, Cambridge, Starters, Movers, Flyers. Well, there are 2 new players in town. The GSE, up to level 47, and the Pearson test of English, que es como el Cambridge. Starters, acá se llama First Words. Movers, Springboard, Flyers, Quick March. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's really interesting. So, to celebrate what I just told you, let's practice as our final activity the official choreography of the Big English theme song. Everybody please stand up for me for our final activity.